right. Good day, developers. Good day, everyone here. Good day, everyone online. You are on the right session. You are on source control and code-first approach. And after my session, we would have another session, CI/CD. Every time I talk about source control, I say, do CI/CD as soon as possible. So I invite the next guy to join me. So we will merge the session. It's going to be a long session. We are doing questions in the end. We believe both questions will answer each other. But yes, stay here with us. We have lots of content, and really happy to be here. So let me start with an introduction. I am Marcel Ferreira. I am a product manager in Microsoft in the Power Apps team, product team. I look after what we call inner loop experiences for advanced makers and pro developers. I also have a background on developer tools, so tools such as PAC CLI, I think, is the most popular one. And yeah, that's a little bit of me. And you might know the guy here with me presenting. Want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Marcel. Yeah, I'm Scott Giroux with Microsoft as well. Get to work with Marcel. I've been with Microsoft a year now. I was a Microsoft MVP for 10 years before that. Written lots of open source tools and Ribbon Workbench as well. You might have heard of that tool. So yeah, it's my great pleasure to be here.
Yes, and I'll ask Scott to start to set the context of the presentation. Would you like to please?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, you stay around because I dropped this on Marcel minutes before we started that I'm actually going to make him deploy an update to the Powerful Devs website live to their production site. Yeah. You looked at me slightly wild-eyed. But this just goes to show the importance of CI/CD, right? And source control, and having that confidence. So quickly, just a show of hands, and welcome to those people who are watching us on the live stream. But in the room here, just a quick show of hands. Who would identify themselves as a low-code maker? Okay, a few people. Okay, that's good. And what about a code-first developer, C# and say? Okay, yeah, I love the way that everyone puts it up with pride. Yes, that's me. Well, this is a pro dev conference, so but welcome everyone. So anyone like all of those things? Yeah, of course, because we all do it, right? Yeah, and then like Azure, anyone who's like just doing stuff in Azure, this new to the Power Platform. No, good, excellent. And so I'm guessing everyone's like that. Yeah, right. But we want to use all of them, right? Because we hear about low code all the time, and this is a pro dev conference, but low code is an important thing. But we do hear all these kind of things as pro coders. We hear a lot of these kind of comments like, it's vendor locking, it's just for simple solutions. It's not extensible, and we need more control, etc. But the thing is, we do have to ask ourselves, what does it mean to do modern software development? Because although we're using low code, we have choices, right? So we've always got choices about what's the best tools to use, either pro code, low code, or whatever. It's always been like that. We always need to make the right choices. And the thing is that because we've got choices, have you ever been in that situation where people say, it's low code, it's simple, that's fine, we don't need to worry about it, we can just deploy things and it's all going to be fine. But then a couple of months later or a year later, someone says, well, we've had all these problems in production, we've had all of these failures, and we don't really know why, because we're just pressing that button. We've been told that it's low code, it's simple. But actually what happens is that then people say, well, it's the Power Platform. Power Platform is just giving us all of these problems. But actually, the thing is, although it's low code, it's still software development. So all of those, I'm a pro dev, it's software development. We don't just throw out decades and decades of software development best practices. Best practices such as, and this is what we're here to talk about, is source control and CI/CD. These are software development practices, which means that you're going to lower the number of issues that you have in production, trap those issues earlier, and that's why we're talking about it. And of course, the great thing about modern software development is that you can combine low code, no code, pro code, and we can use Copilot, because we've got to talk about AI. We have to get it. I mean, how long was that? So I get brownie points for getting AI in there as early as possible. But the thing is, AI is enabled by low code, and I think that's what's modern software development. That's the true power of Power Platform, where you can really get much, much further, because Copilot really is just not only transforming how we build, but it's also transforming what we build. So I've talked about AI, so we'll move on, shall we?
Okay, so here is what we will do in the first session. To keep the subjects clear for everybody to understand, I will play the low-code persona. So I'll be the low-code, and Scott is going to be the pro developer. Okay, let's start talking about source code. For low-code, that's our subject number 1. And we need to define a couple of terms, because we are developers, we like to define things, right? Low-code, I'm using the definition of low-code. You might agree or not agree, but that's my definition. Low-code is a component that uses Maker Portal to drag and drop. You might have some code, but you don't build, you don't compile. That's what I'm using here as low-code, okay? All right, now, the philosophical question, what is source code? What is source code? And here's my definition as well, you might not agree. But source code is an abstraction. And actually, we write code is not for the machine, it's for humans. So some people, let's say, they use C as a programming language. There are another group of people, they say, I can do better. I want to create this thing called object, like C++ objects. Other group of people say, no, everything is functional. Doesn't matter really, right? Because we have another layer of abstraction underneath, maybe assembly, maybe IL, but you get my point. It can be complicated. And what is important is clean code, right? And clean code is like well-written prose, right? Clean code. The definition that I will use today here, it is a not ambiguous description of my application or solution. So it's a solution. A solution is the source code. Doesn't matter if the maker, the low-code developer, don't see code. The solution is my source code. And once I have a source code, I can control that. And there are different levels of maturity. The first one, and this we see everywhere, where you have only citizen developers, they do everything manually. Maybe they do testing production, or they're just creating stuff and using. Maybe they have a second environment, but they manually go and copy everything. This process is error-prone, too many chances to fail, and doesn't work. We know it doesn't scale, right? Because we are pro developers, and that's what I like to say. Pro developers don't code. That's not what we do. We solve problems. So we understand about processes. So when you are mature enough, you put tools and accelerated processes in place. So you split the personas. Citizen developers, they keep working the way they work, and we teach them. We put a pipeline. We put GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps to help to deliver in a consistent way. Okay, but the personas are still separated. The nirvana, that's our goal, that's our vision, is go to native 3.0, is about democracy, is to democratize for all personas. Everybody should be able to develop a solution, enterprise ready from day one. Even if they don't really understand what they are doing, doesn't matter, right? Everybody brings something to the table, some knowledge. So again, the goal is low-code developers, they are doing ALM right since day one, okay? And what is the best way of starting a new solution? You start with a plan, okay? I will talk about Copilot again very briefly. Mm-hmm. Usually I have to apologize for showing code. Today I'm apologizing for not showing code, but it will come. So you start with a plan. That's our feature plan designer. We announced at PPCC, the community conference, and it's a Copilot first experience for you to develop solutions. We will explore a scenario today, which is the Contoso real estate. You will have access to the repository with all the code. And this is what I ask the plan designer, say, I need a custom application for managing real estate listings, client interactions, and property details. And I also attach ERD, a diagram. And then I ask the plan designer to go ahead and create a plan for me. So I have some agents working for me. It will help me to get the requirements to create to figure out the user roles and help me to build a good solution architecture to develop that. And notice, a solution is not only a Power App, it's several components, okay? But the point here today it is ALM friendly since day one. All the components, they will be created in a solution, and even the plan itself is in a solution, is a solution object, okay? Have a look on the plan designer if you have not yet. Let's go to code now. As I said, the solution is the code, and we have the native source code integration. And the goal, it is to make the citizen developer to do source control since day one. So you can connect your environment or your solution to Azure DevOps repository. And we will use solution today. You can use both. There is no right or wrong. But you can connect in seconds. You don't need any tool to set up. You do everything from Maker Portal. And we are taking this opportunity to do some improvements on the solution. And that might be controversial, but it's actually very beneficial. All the XML files that we have, they are now YAML. Basically, because YAML is easier to source control, and also they are easier to read for humans. You don't have, well, yeah, you get my point. And not only that, but you will see a pattern in Power Platform. More and more, we are use a combination of YAML plus Power Effects. That's what we do with Canvas, which we will go now today, but also with Test Engine and Copilot agents. So that's where we are heading. So that video was showing how to connect. I just connect my environment to a Azure DevOps. Now I will show how I set up a solution. I will create a repository for my solution. I will show a recording. After that, we will go and explore just because it takes time. So here, that's my solution. It's a real estate manager solution. That's the one. It has several components. Okay, I will show that the plan and the plan artifact, the things that the plan designer did, they are here solution objects, so you have full transparency. Okay, and here I have a Canvas app, and I have a couple of tables. I will go and use the option source control, connect now, and then all I have to do is to select a branch, and I can create a new one, and then a Git folder. And then I will hit continue, and that's it. What is happening under the hood, it will look all the components of that solution. Remember, I'm binding at the solution level. And it will check all what I have. Once it's done, this will take some time. That's why I did record. I will be able to commit. Okay? I have lots of things here, but I can go and commit. I will add a description, initial commit, and that's it. That's the experience, but let's have a look on the solution files, as I mentioned. What is different? What is the difference? So let's head to my computer so we can see a demo. So this is the solution. We will use a simpler solution, okay, to make things a little bit more clear. I have here a Canvas app, and I also have a table, okay? I will already open my Canvas app just to speed up. Is open already. But let's go to the solution first. I can go here to source control, and in Git connection, I have a link for my Azure DevOps project. I want to show you two files, and then compare to the current format of the solution. This is the native integration format, the new YAML format. I want to show you the solution XML, which is now YAML. This is what it looks like. Here I have the version of my solution. And I want to show also an entity. So let's use the Contoso listing. And here is the entity. Okay? In my VS Code, I have the solution. This is the current format, the one that everybody knows. This is my solution XML. And entities. Contoso listings, entity. This is the entity. So yes, it's a little bit longer. And also overwhelming, all these verbose. XMLs are fine, but YAML is more friendly for makers. OK. Now let's talk about Canvas, because Canvas is a little bit different. How a Canvas looks today. If I go to a Canvas app, I have this file here, which is, oops, it's a binary. So it's not an abstraction, it's not source code. So I cannot source control, and that's the problem we have today, right? You cannot source control Canvas app. Well, let's go back to the slide. Sorry for that. Yes. Yes. So here is the question. Is there a source code for Canvas app? Because, Canvas app is an abstraction. There is a fundamental. We know there is source code. How can you source control? Today, there is a way. It's not supported, and I'm just showing because maybe you are using and you don't know. If you use PAC CLI, and if you use any PAC solution verb, there is a parameter PCA, process Canvas apps, that would convert to a YAML. This is not supported. Should not be used in production, so please don't use in production. Just because maybe your pipeline will stop working. So we don't expose this parameter. If you try to see this parameter is not available anymore, but it still works because we don't want to break any pipeline, but you should not use in production. And this is fx.yaml. That's the format of the file that will be generated. This is a conversion. This is gone. Don't use in production. What we are doing with the source code integration, native source code integration, we are natively storing the YAML. So let's go dive a little bit deeper on the Canvas app. What is a Canvas app? Is a combination of assets, of JSON files, where we have the serialization and also references and resources. These files, they will be visible, but they are not supported for you to edit. Okay? We use that, but don't change that. What we are doing, we are adding a new folder, SRC, and we don't have an MS app anymore. We are showing to you all the things inside the Canvas app. And you will have one YAML file per screen, one per app, and one per component. And the extension is pa.yaml. Okay? That's what we expose on the native source code integration. And I need to talk about the schema versions because we have these differences. So as I said, the experimental is fx.yaml. Don't use that. We don't support a conversion. There is no direct conversion to fx to pa.yaml. If you have this in your source code, convert back to MS App, import to Power Apps, and then you will have the pa.yaml file there in the Maker portal. Okay? We have also what we call early preview. This is when we start new features like code view, copy code and paste code in Power Apps Studio when you edit Canvas. We show a YAML. That's the format that we call early preview. We did some changes, some tweaks, some improvements, and now that's the version that we will deliver, that we will GA, which we call source code, which we expose on pa.yaml file. The good news is, if you are a maker, and if you are doing code snippets, you are storing these code snippets, doesn't matter, we will convert automatically. The early preview, we will just convert to the source code. So any YAML that you see should work fine, except the fx.yaml. And let's go to the last demo. Are we okay on time, Scott?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. So let's see the demo. I will open my, my Canvas app, and then I will talk about some specific points on the format. Okay? Let's go ahead. So this is my Canvas app. As I said, it's the composer real estate. So I have here a list of properties, and very simple. That's what it is. I will open the code view to explain a few things about the format. So that's the YAML format, and that's the source code that we want to show in Power Apps Studio if you want to see. What we changed on the final version is there is a higher level which defines the type of the component. So here you see screens. Okay? It's always only one screen, but if you want to store multiple screens in a single YAML file, why not? You can. Okay? The order here is not significant. Yes, so, and this is the name of the screen. Okay. Every screen will have controls. So children, we will define the controls, and the control is an array. So it means that the order is important. The order is important because it is the Z index. So we don't show the Z index. The Z index is implied by the order of the control. So this is 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, not the children, but you get my point. And that's the name of the control. The name is always on the left. How do we define what it is? We define by this control here. Okay. I want to show something more simple first. So let me show you a button. Yep, that should do it. So here I have a button. See, is an array here. So yeah, that's the name of my button. Edit icon button 1. And here I have control that defines what it is. And this is just a classic icon, and that's it. Based on that, I will have some properties. Another thing we added this version here. So if you're familiar to Canvas, every control, they can change. We may add properties, we may remove properties. This version here is just for you to, so we know what is the version you're storing the source code. This version does not define runtime. This is important, okay? Like if you are using the code in your repository, and if you put a version, does not mean we will run that version. We will just know that that is a serialization of that specific format. Another thing, it is some controls, they are special. Maybe they have different defaults, maybe they have more properties, but they are the same type. That's why we have variants sometimes. So a variant, it is kind of a subclass, okay? It is the same as the control, but might have different defaults, might have different values. And we try, as we can, we don't show variants. We only put if it's needed. So a button doesn't have any variant because it's simple enough. A control here, this is a container. Yes, this has a variant because this might be an auto layout or it might be manual. So we just made more simple. Another important thing, this is the last thing about the schema. It is here I'm defining the type of control. I cannot use PowerFX here. Okay, PowerFX doesn't work here. PowerFX only work on the properties, and we always have an equal. So if you see equal, it means that very likely it will accept PowerFX. For more details on that, or if you want to see the specification, we have the documentation. Documentation is comprehensive on that. And I will stop here about the format. Okay? But look, all this work that we did to establish this, we have also a public schema. So there is a JSON schema available. If you want to understand or validate, you can do that. But because of the work that we did in the backend, we start to highlight some new experiences, such as copy code and paste code. So, for example, in this app here, we added a screen, which this is a dialogue just for you to upload a picture. Maybe I want to use this in another app, so I can just copy the code and send to someone else in the teams, right? And if I paste the YAML code here back, the control will be created. Okay? And this is the part that it gets interesting to work with low code, because when I showed this to some makers that never seen that, like they were so amazed, like, wow, I can share the components just by this part of code. Like, they don't need to understand the code to get benefit of the code. That's the magic about Fusion development. You support other people, and they start to understand the value of these things, right? I think, yes, last thing, source control, okay? When I was working in this app, I got a Teams from a user. The user told me, hey, my app is not working. It changed by itself. You know, we know it doesn't happen, but I'm pretty sure.
It works on my machine.
It does, right? And with this message, he's also asking for a new thing. There's a new requirement here. He says, hey, the filter is not working. I want to filter the listings based on the search input by name, address, description, or display name, and sort the results by price. So I have a new requirement here. OK, so first, I will deal with this new requirement. I'll go to the app and check. I know this is the most recent version. If I try to filter here, I can see it's not working. So let me try to understand why. And I can see here that actually this is being filtered by listing ID. And that's not what he asked on the requirements. But I'm a pro developer. And I'm not using PowerFX very often. So I will ask Copilot to create the formula for me from the message that I got on Teams. So please add this filter here. And yeah, Copilot will figure, and it will add the PowerFX. And then I will try to run to see. So let me see. If I type, it should work. It found, and it should sort by price. So yep. That is working. And now I want to investigate what happened, not to find the blame. It's not a Git blame, but I want to avoid that in the future, right? So let me see if it was magic. I will go here to the source control, and I will go to my Canvas app. And as I mentioned, the Canvas app, I don't have the MS app anymore. I have a folder that will be the Canvas app, the MS app in the past. I have the new folder here, SRC. And I have my screen. That's the screen that I was working on, and I want to see the history. And here I see some magic mystery code. So if I open, yeah, someone changed here. So this is the beauty of having the source code. You can control. And let's go back here to the slide, because I want to show one last important thing. On the Git integration, we don't have a build process, so we don't have a way to validate the code there. So there is an assumption. All the code in your repository, it is published code, like it's good code. Because of that, the signal to update the code is the publishing. So every time you change a canvas, once you are done and you want to share, usually you publish. That's the signal that will update the Dataverse solution. And in this scenario, it will update the solution, my source code. Okay? And this might change with the future. That's the current status. OK, we talk about these features. I want to quickly talk about the roadmap. For the native source code integration, we did lots of things. You can read there, or you can have a look. Where we are today, we are on public preview. There are some updates coming. So for example, today, you cannot disconnect and reconnect one environment. And also, there is a limitation about the size of your commit. These things, they will be improved, and they will be coming until we are GA. But the main point here is the scenario. Okay? The scenario supported here is low-code components. Okay? We are not building. There is a specific subset of objects that will be supported, and this will improve with the time based on usage and based on feedback. Our goal is to enable ALM natively by default, and that's where we are on the native source code integration. Regarding Canvas YAML, Canvas source code YAML, we are on public preview for code view. We will GA next month, so code view, copy, and paste code will be GA. The schema is available already, but we will also enable copy screens. Today, you cannot copy screens. You need to use a container. That will be possible. And also, in the Git integration, you will be able to update the YAML code. Today, the YAML code that I show is read-only. It's just for you to review. Very soon, you will be able to change as well, and I will show that working, actually. That is not available, but I will show working. And in the future, we want to create more code-first experiences, like code view for the app control is not available today. We will enable that. And edit the YAML code in Power Apps Studio is something that we want to support as well, if you guys think you can benefit of it. So that's the future and the direction. I love the excitement. Yes. Let's go to the last demo, and I need to pray to the demo gods now. this is not a production quality code. Let's go. So in that app, I have, let me go back here. I have my PA file, right? I want to edit this file. I will not do anything too hard. I will just change this. Okay? And I will do here quick and dirty, commit. That's it. Let's go back to the Git integration. Let's go back to, let's check for updates here to see if it will pick up.
Low-code demos always take longer than you expect them to.
And yes, looks like I'm lucky today because it works. I can see here, Canvas app, there is an update, so I will just pull. Basically, I'm getting the code from my repository, and again, it will publish already because, as I said, all the code in the repo, in the native Git integration, is published code. We don't have a build process yet. So once this updates, what it's doing in the backend is loading the Canvas YAML from the pa.yaml files. The JSON files, the controls, all the native is not being used to load. So if I open my Canvas app, then I should see the change. And that's just the beginning. Keep feedback coming. Please test the feature you have not tested yet. We would love to hear your thoughts. And hopefully we will see this screen and then we can keep going because we have lots of content. So yeah, let me see the screen. And yeah, it works. So I'm lucky today. But what about PAC CLI? Is it still relevant? I will ask Scott to go a little bit deeper now on pro code components.